said this for years, but men who can regularly bag 8s, 9s, and 10s often choose 6s and 7s when looking for a relationship. Myself included. I was running through hot hoes in Vegas for years, but when it came time to settle down, I chose a 6. That woman is now my wife. Only men who are or have been successful with women will understand this, but most women never will. This isn't cope. This isn't insecurity. This is experience. Men with real options optimize for peace, not validation. You see, gentlemen, 8s, 9s, and 10s, they come with a lot of baggage. They get attention from men everywhere they go. Their egos are reinforced daily. They constantly test your boundaries. It just never ends. But the reason these girls are like this is because beauty gives power, and power changes behavior. A man who's dated enough knows that attraction is cheap, but he also knows stability is not. Neither is calm, and neither is cooperation. 6 and 7s, on the other hand, bring a lot less entitlement, a lot less chaos, and a lot less competition for dominance, while also providing more femininity, more gratitude, and more peace. Men of value do not chase beauty. They can get that anytime. Instead, what they chase is alignment. Looks do get her in the door. That gets his attention, but it is her character that determines longevity. Modern women assume that men always want the hottest option, but that's how women think. Men with abundance, they think differently. They choose what preserves their frame. Because I'm here to tell you, an average looking woman who's cooperative beats a stunning woman who's combative any day. I speak from personal experience, having paid this price many times over. And that's why this truth sounds so offensive to those who don't qualify to see it. If you've never had options, you won't understand choosing restraint. Men with options don't marry fantasy. They marry functionality. Why? Because they know that while beauty fades, peace compounds. Only men who've had regular access understand why men walk away from attractive women consistently. This isn't theory. This is pattern recognition. And women will never understand this because they've never lived on that side of choice. Subscribe to the channel for daily dating wisdom like this. I'm going to tell you something about women that you probably already know, but you don't realize that you know it yet. Women don't fall in love with men. They fall in love with the men who can guide them. If that doesn't make sense to you, think of it this way. Women fall in love with their college professors and not their classmates. Why? Because they're drawn to authority, not equality. They want guidance, not the partnership they're always squawking about on TikTok. Because the man who leads her mind automatically leads her emotions. This isn't romance, guys. This is nature. You see, gentlemen, a college professor has what most young men do not, which is authority, composure, age, direction, patience, and power. And women instinctively respond to that combination. Why? Because guidance feels like protection to the feminine, and protection feels like love. A man who teaches her becomes a man she can trust. A man she can trust becomes a man she respects. And a man she respects becomes a man she can fall for instantly. Respect escalates to admiration. Admiration escalates to attachment. And attachment escalates to what feels like love to her. It is the most predictable sequence in female psychology. But here's the part that most men refuse to accept. A woman is not turned on by potential. She's turned on by a man who has already walked the path and can show her the way. This is why the equation of age plus teacher plus authority equals turned on. And this combination hits a lot harder than it looks. It triggers something of a paternal archetype in her psychology. Not in a creepy way, but in a biological evolutionary one. Women don't want a man who wants to learn together. They want a man who already knows. Because a mentor doesn't ask questions. He gives answers. He doesn't seek direction. He provides it. And these things make him emotionally magnetic. So the quick math here is that a woman bonds with the man who elevates her, not the man who entertains her. Modern men want to impress women. Wise men want to teach them. Because a woman's attention grows fastest in the presence of a man she can learn from. And my wife is the perfect example of this. When I met her, I wasn't this 6'4" ripped Adonis with a 12-inch ding-a-ling who drove a Lambo. She recognized very quickly that I could teach her how to handle money, how to navigate complicated situations with her former work colleagues, how to deal with extended family issues, and most of all, how to be a lady. And this is exactly why women remember the mentor long after she forgets the boyfriend. Women don't fall in love with age, gentlemen. They fall in love with leadership. They don't fall in love with maturity. They fall in love with mastery. And they don't just fall in love with confidence. They also fall in love with competence. All of these things are what makes a man unforgettable. You need to get your hands on one of my most potent ebooks, How to Train Your Woman. So if you want to go from being the kind of man that women leave and become the kind of man that women learn from, you need to get your hands on one of my most potent books, How to Train Your Woman. Yes, you heard that correctly. This book is called How to Train Your Woman, and you can get it at datingwisdom.net. She ended up blindsiding me again. But what that experience taught me was that when she comes back, it's almost never because she suddenly cares. It's never because she all of a sudden realized she loved you. It's because her options dried up. She didn't miss you. She missed the attention. She missed the safety. She missed the stability. Your connection with her was not about romance. You were a resource to her. How do I know? Simple. When she had choices, you were invisible. And when choices disappear, you become special. That isn't love, guys. That's convenience. Here are the real reasons she came back. The new guy failed, the roster went quiet, and the validation stopped. Women lie, gentlemen. Patterns do not. And as men, we get tricked by nostalgia, don't we? Old pictures, her reminiscing about the good old days, her telling you that she's changed. But she didn't change, player. The market did. And that's why she's trying to come back. If she respected you, then she wouldn't need to lose you in order to value you. And here's the diabolical thing. The attempted comeback is usually a test. Are you still available? Do I still have access? Can I still control the pace? And if you take her back, you teach her a cold, hard lesson. And that lesson is that she can leave, shop around, return, and you will still be there. A man with standards does not tolerate becoming a backup plan. He becomes her lesson. So when she returns, don't get emotional, get logical. Because if she left when life was good, she'll leave again when life is better. Stop getting taken advantage of by women who treat you like an option, gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel or get over to datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. Belongs to the streets because the bad boys get her first. The nice guys, they just get what's left of her. Modern women waste their primes on men who spike their heartbeats, not the men who play it safe. She'll jump into chaos almost immediately, but then she'll make the good guy wait until she's ready. One man triggers adrenaline, the other man offers security. And desire is always much higher on a modern woman's list of priorities than actual stability. Her first man gets her raw self, literally and figuratively. Every man after that gets a managed version. Their youth is spent chasing the excitement, but later comes that panicked search for safe. She calls the bad boy toxic, yet she's still checking his stories at 4:30 in the morning. And by the time she actually wants marriage, her loyalty has been fragmented and her standards have been rewritten. That's why nice guys are confused. They meet her after the storm, never before it. One man gets her prime, the other man gets her hindsight. Like it or not, that's the game, gentlemen. You can either ignore it and pay dearly, or you can pay attention and thrive. Subscribe to the channel if you want to thrive. Make this crystal clear because I have been on the wrong side of this way too many times. Women are absolutely ruthless when they fall out of love. They're not emotional. They're not confused. They are ruthless. When there's a breakup, men become nostalgic while women become surgical. And when her feelings die, so does her mercy. A man remembers the good times, but a woman rewrites history. What she described as love now becomes I was never happy. And we see and hear this all the time, guys. And she doesn't leave slowly. She detaches quietly. And by the time you notice, she has already grieved you while still sleeping right next to you. When a woman is really done with you, she doesn't argue anymore. Instead, she observes and she calculates. That is when she's preparing her exit. In this situation, silence isn't peace. It's planning. And this is why women move on so fast. She didn't heal quickly. She healed before she left your ass. You were still fighting for the relationship while she was already free. This isn't cruelty, gentlemen. It's efficiency. So when it comes to relationships, women are emotional on the way in, but they are logical on the way out. A lot of men ask themselves, well, how do I fix this? While women ask themselves, is this still worth my time? And when the answer is no, that door and her legs close permanently. That's why begging never works. This is why explaining never works. This is why promises never work. She already decided. You were just catching up. Women don't destroy men with anger. They destroy them with indifference. Love doesn't end loudly, gentlemen. It ends clean. So the lesson for men is simple. If she falls out of love, walk away with dignity. Because once her heart is gone, she will never come back. And pretending otherwise is exactly how men lose themselves. Do not be one of those men. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. That was one of many situations that taught me the power of walking away. But if you can walk away from a beautiful woman, you already outrank better than 95% of men. Because beauty is the most effective leash ever created. Most men don't date women. They negotiate with their own desperation. She doesn't have powers because she's special. She has power because most men are weakened by female beauty. The average man would tolerate disrespect, silence, cheating, and humiliation just to stay close to a nice body. That ain't love, gentlemen. That's addiction. And women can sense it instantly. The moment she knows you cannot walk away, the respect dies immediately, and the attraction follows shortly after. A lot of men will say, she's out of my league. Translation, I put women above my self-respect. High caliber men don't chase beauty. They evaluate behavior. Yes, looks get her in the door, but it's her character that decides whether or not he keeps her around. The rarest sentence a woman can hear is, "I'm not impressed." That sentence alone terrifies an ego built entirely on attention for something they did not work for. Walking away isn't arrogance. It's clarity. It means your life is already full. It means she's an option, not oxygen. Most men fear losing the girl. High caliber men fear losing themselves. And that's a big difference. Any man can fall for beauty, but only a disciplined man can reject it when it comes with disrespect. If you can walk away no matter how hot she is, you're not cold, you're dangerous. And that's the kind of man women feel and never forget. So if you want to learn how to become the kind of man who walks away from beautiful women, get on over to datingwisdom.net. Link in description or bio. You guys probably already know that I have been guilty of this more times than I can count. Guys, stop sending girls long paragraphs after they've hurt you. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and bounce like a bad check. No goodbyes, no good riddance, no you'll regret this, no nothing. Because I'm here to tell you, she didn't misunderstand. She understood completely and she still disrespected you. And that's the part you keep avoiding. Paragraphs don't create remorse. They create validation. You are rewarding disrespect with attention. You think you're expressing yourself while she knows you're still attached. And attachment kills leverage with modern women. No woman ever reads one of these pathetic paragraphs and thinks to herself, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should treat him better. Nah, player. Instead, she thinks, yeah, he's gonna stick around no matter what. Gentlemen, you cannot guilt trip someone into empathy, because if she really cared, then you wouldn't need to convince her. Closure isn't a conversation, it's a decision, and silence is a boundary. Say less, observe more, withdraw access, and let the consequences teach her what words never will. Because speaking from personal experience, the strongest message is absence, not explanation. If she feels nothing when you leave, that paragraph was never going to save your relationship in the first place. So stop writing these essays to women who have hurt you. They don't care, and guilt won't make them care. Instead, keep your dignity by subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell. By the time they're 30, most women have lived sexual lives that most men have never experienced, not even one time. But that ain't the secret. The silence is. And if you're a little confused by that, listen up. Men exaggerate their pasts while women edit theirs. Not out of modesty, but out of survival. Because women are keenly aware that if men knew the full, unfiltered truth about a woman's sexual past, most women would be disqualified immediately. Disqualified for marriage, disqualified for dating, disqualified for anything outside of a smash and pass. You see, gentlemen, she doesn't hide her past because it's harmless. She hides it because she knows it changes how she's seen. And every woman knows this whether they admit it or not. Ask a man about his past, and you get chronology. Ask a woman about hers, and you get curation. Her stories are trimmed, the details are fuzzy, the context completely removed, the truth edited. By the time she's 30, she's had phases, experiments, situationships, mistakes, fun summers, crazy times, and hilarious European adventures. Different labels, same behavior, better marketing. As men, we overestimate a woman's innocence while women underestimate men's pattern recognition. Both of these errors cost men a lot of money, time, and energy. Most men never know who she slept with, what level those men were on, what she tolerated, or what she enjoyed. And that ignorance is intentional. Why? Because the messier the past, the smoother the story. She's not protecting herself. She's protecting your perception of her. Women will often say, well, I don't remember. She's lying. She remembers everything. Dates, names, places, and definitely the details. She just hopes that you never connect the dots. A man can forgive many things, but finding out he's the settlement phase and not the desire phase is not one of them. This is exactly why the reformed good girls are always in their late 20s to early 30s. Not because they're transformed, but because time forced a pivot. And for her, marriage isn't romance. It's risk management. It's an exit from a lifestyle that no longer allows her to indulge as freely as it once did. Women don't hide their pasts because it doesn't matter. They hide it because it matters too much. Most men meet women at the altar without ever meeting the truth. And this is why I tell you guys to study female nature. Because ignorance isn't bliss, and it damn sure isn't noble. But what it is expensive, and in some cases, deadly. But if you don't want to study female nature, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. They are both very, very important, but I will say this. Her ex matters more than her body count. Let me repeat that. Both are important, but her ex matters more than her body count. By comparison, body count count is just a metric, but her ex is a programmer. One shapes her past, the other shapes her mind. A woman doesn't miss all the men she slept with. She missed the one who damaged her the most. Body count is a byproduct of trauma. Trauma creates habits, and habits create the version of her that you meet, because whoever broke her, that is the man she will subconsciously seek validation from for at least the next decade. Every one of us has seen, heard, or experienced this firsthand. Dude, my own mom is guilty of this. She blew up our family to chase a man who was addicted to crack, couldn't hold down a job, and put hands on her. But even now, in her 60s, she still talks about this dude. You'll treat her like gold, and she'll wonder why. Why? Because her ex treated her like she was disposable. You'll give her consistency, but she will crave chaos. Not only because she's damaged, but also because she's conditioned. You're not competing with her past men. You're competing with her emotional imprint. A woman's type isn't who she likes. It's the one who she couldn't recover from. And women will never tell you this, but the man who hurt her the most is the blueprint for every man she chooses after. And this is why good men get confused. You're treating her right, but she's addicted to wrong. And the sad truth is that trauma bonding isn't rare anymore. It's simply the modern dating scene. And most couples are just two people trying to heal wounds that somebody else created. Her heart doesn't follow logic. It follows scars. And if you do not understand her ex, then you do not understand who or what you are actually dealing with. So the quick math here is that her body count is her history, while her ex is the ghost you're fighting. And until her emotions kill that ghost, she will never fully love you. Never forget that. One of the main reasons I have a gym at my house, but if we had women-only gyms, they'd go out of business because no woman would ever go. For modern women, the gym isn't about fitness, at least not for most of them. For most of them, it's about being seen while pretending it's about health. Remove the male gaze, take away the validation, eliminate the attention, and watch the motivation evaporate. Because if process really were the goal, mirrors wouldn't matter, outfits wouldn't matter, angles wouldn't matter. So trust me when I tell you, if there's no male audience, most women wouldn't even go to the gym in the first place. Men train for results. Women train for response. One builds strength, the other farms reactions. This is why the gym has become something of a combination between a runway and a brothel. Girls don't go to the gym to train anymore. They go to perform on a stage. Women-only gyms would quickly expose the truth, which is no men, no clout, no stares, no silent applause, no gym. If a woman were to ever sign up for a woman-only gym, all of a sudden self-care turns into I'm too busy. Their fitness journey turns into next Monday. Discipline shows when the cameras are off. And most of these Instagram fitness thoughts were never disciplined. They were just admired. It's the attention that fuels her training habit, not her health, not her strength, not her progress. Now let's all sit back and watch the predictable female cope in the comments. She didn't love you, my guy. She loved the attention. She loved the comfort. She loved the version of herself she saw in your eyes. You see, you were the mirror. She was the performance. You gave her loyalty. She gave you moments. She wanted the benefits of your presence, but none of the weight of being what you deserve. She smiled when you praised her. She glowed when you adored her. But the second you needed her to love you back, she vanished. Because it was never about you. It was about what your love did for her, not what she felt for you. You see, while she loved the idea of being loved, she didn't love the work. She didn't love the responsibility. She didn't love the reflection. And when your love no longer fed her ego, she blamed you, not her own emptiness. You gave her everything and she left like it meant nothing. And the reason was that she was addicted to the feeling and not the man. And the worst part about this is that you thought it was love. Learn the skill of avoiding women just like this on datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. The most important things I tell my guys in terms of what to pursue is peace. Because while pretty girls are common, peaceful girls are extremely rare. Yes, her looks pull you in, but it's her habits that determine whether or not you put her into the recreational use only category. Think of it like this. If her beauty costs your sanity, then it's too expensive. If drama burns attraction, silence multiplies. Qualities like respect, restraint, and loyalty are all wife qualities, not just the face card. A calm woman doubles your focus, but a chaotic woman halves your life. Choose the home you want, not the selfie you like. Here are 7 things every man needs to know about dating here in 2026. Number 1. Never feed her endless attention. If you give her the whole plate, she'll stop respecting the taste. Number 2, she is going to test you. Every argument, every mood swing, every text is her way of asking, are you strong enough to lead me? Number 3, do not confuse love with respect. She can say she loves you today and still leave you tomorrow if she does not respect you. Number 4, women don't follow words. They follow strength. If you're weaker than she is, it is a mathematical inevitability that she will start following another man. Number 5, do not drown in her promises. Her mouth lies easier than her actions. Watch her feet, gentlemen, not her lips. Number 6, her loyalty is conditional. She will be loyal as long as you remain the man she admires. because the minute you stop being him is the minute her loyalty expires. Number 7, never put a woman above your mission. If your purpose dies, her attraction dies with it. Most people have absolutely zero clue about how women operate, so there are countless men who walk blindly and directly into heartbreaks. But hear me now, gentlemen. Women are designed to follow strength, admire vision, and test your resolve. If you make her your world, you will lose her. If you build her into your world and invite her in it, she will fight you to stay. And that is the difference between being a boy in love and a man in control. Learn how to become the man in control by going to datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. Watch out for these kinds of girls, because just because she dresses modestly does not mean she has a modest past. Having a private Instagram with no club or no yacht pictures does not mean there still isn't chaos inside. A sweet, innocent voice can absolutely hide promiscuous habits. Purity isn't aesthetic, it's the decisions she makes. So ask her about her values, ask her about her boundaries, ask her about her regrets. Does she defend her past or does she own it? Because genuine remorse, that creates change. But excuses repeat patterns. You're not judging, you're screening. Your commitment is the prize, so make sure you check her resume. You can learn how to check her resume at datingwisdom.net. Link in description and drama and chaos, because he did not completely detach from her. So after a breakup, delete her contact and block her on everything. Delete all the messages, delete all the pictures, delete anything that reminds you of her, because it didn't almost work. It straight up ended. You do not heal by watching her stories, guys. That ain't healing. That is self-inflicted humiliation. You heal from a breakup the moment you accept one cold, hard fact. She is not a part of your future. Men don't need closure. Men need discipline. So the real loss wasn't her. The real loss was the minute you abandoned your self-respect and started reading old text like they held the answers. Newsflash, guys, they don't. And you know it. She isn't confused, she isn't processing, and she damn sure isn't thinking about you. Nah, player, she's getting pounded out by the dude she cheated with while you're reminiscing about a past that you now know was completely tainted. Here's another cold hard fact you need to wrap your mind around. She moved on more quickly than you did because she emotionally left long before she physically left. And this is a dating tale as old as time itself. And deleting everything doesn't mean you forget her. It means that you've stopped lying to yourself about a reconcile that isn't coming. You cannot revive something that expired naturally, because love doesn't end dramatically. It decays quietly. Every time you reread a message, you reopen a wound that was closing. Stop bleeding for a woman who has already washed her hands of you. Now, you don't need to hate her, because hate still ties you emotionally. Remember, guys, indifference is freedom. So remove her from your phone, remove her from your routines, and remove her from your inner dialogue. Not for revenge, not for ego, but for clarity and peace. Because men who build futures do not chase memories. Instead, they bury them and then get right back to work. Become the kind of man who can bury memories after a breakup by subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell. I've done one-on-one consults since 2018, and I have noticed a recent trend with the men that I have counseled lately. They're done with women, guys. And the number of men who are done with modern women is exploding. They're not angry, they're not lonely, they're not heartbroken, they're just finished. And I know a lot of women watching this will think, these guys are losers, these guys are incels. Not even close. You see, these men didn't fail with women. In fact, they've succeeded in betting them so often that they've begun to understand them. Why? Because I consistently advise them of what I tell you guys day in and day out, and that is to pay the fuck attention. These guys watched the incentives and paid attention. They observed the behavior and paid attention. Then they ran a cost-benefit analysis, and almost to a man, they've decided to walk away. The modern relationship demands a lot from a man. Full emotional availability, financial responsibility, patience without authority, and loyalty without reciprocity. In other words, men take all the risk for very little reward, if any. And because men are logical creatures, they adapted. They've stopped chasing commitment in a market that punishes it. They've stopped offering marriage to women who treat it as optional, and they've stopped building futures with women who prioritize feelings over duty. This isn't resentment, this is adjustment. And today's men have realized that they do not need long-term relationships to build wealth, maintain peace, grow stronger, or live meaningful lives. You see, marriage used to be a multiplier, but in 2026, it's a liability. So these men aren't giving up. They have started to wake up. They're reallocating energy into wealth, work, purpose, and freedom. But don't get it twisted. These guys still date around. They still enjoy the company of women. They simply refuse to bind themselves to instability. And that's the shift. When men stop competing for approval and start protecting their peace, women feel it. Why else do you think there's so many TikTok videos of women crying in their cars about how miserable they are, wondering why they're still single in their 30s, 40s, and 50s? Well, the answer to the age-old question, where have all the good men gone, is that the good men have walked away. Not because they hate women, but because they have finally started choosing themselves. They're not raging out like black pill guys. They're not making a bunch of noise about not playing the game or walking away like MGTOW guys. They simply withdrew like the coolest dude at the party party executing a perfectly timed Irish goodbye. And that silence is louder than any complaint. So if you want to know the truth about female nature without being jaded by it, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. By the time I finally realized what was happening, it was already too late. So the moral of that story, guys, is that a woman will never tell you that she's using you. Yes, she will smile, she'll laugh, she'll accept all the gifts, all the attention, and she will do all of this while never choosing you. She lets you pay, she lets you drive her around, she lets you listen to her drama, and then she calls someone else at night. You're her safety net, my guy, her emotional sponge, her backup plan. She does not see you as a man. She sees you as a free resource with no boundaries. Because the more you give, the more she takes. The more attention you pay to her, the more invisible you become. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that being good to a woman doesn't mean that you're weak, but being good to an undeserving female without having vetted her properly, that is simping. A man's man gives. A man's man is good to his woman, but only if she deserves it. Because if she never chooses you when she doesn't need you, she will never stay when you need her the most. Learn to tell the difference between a woman trying to use you and a woman who's worth pursuing for a relationship in my book, How to Properly Vet a Woman for a Long-Term Relationship. You can get that at datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. The moral of the story is that broken men can be fixed, but broken women cannot. And I am here to tell you, having tried this many times myself, you can't fix a girl who benefits from being broken. She doesn't want healing. She wants excuses. And the reason for this is that broken, that's her brand. It gets her attention, sympathy, and control. You show up with solutions, she shows up with new problems. But she doesn't want solutions because fixing it would end the performance. Stop me if you've heard this one before. I just need support. But what she really needs is an audience. And as long as you are with her, you are in the front row seat. She'll call you heartless when you stop helping. But the truth is that you just stopped being her sponsor. And that's what she's really pissed about. Gentlemen, you cannot save women who love their own story of suffering. They will drag your ass into the script until you start bleeding too. So what's your best move? Simple. Stop playing mechanic for bitches who crash on purpose. Let the noise run out of listeners. Because the cold hard truth is that most women don't want peace. They want control. They call it healing while feeding off of chaos. And if you don't see it early, you get played as the fixer. Stop trying to fix broken women, guys. It's not even close to worth it. And if you want to be able to identify broken women, you need to get your hands on my book, 16 Ways to Immediately Disqualify Her for a Long-Term Relationship. And you can get that at datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. Here are the 10 fastest way to make a woman like you here in 2026. Number 1, be dangerous in bed. If she doesn't crave you physically, she will replace you mentally before the relationship ends. Number 2, be absolutely ruthless with standards. Men who tolerate bullshit, they get respected. Men who walk away, get chased. Number 3, show emotional discipline, not emotion. Women do not want to manage your feelings. They want to feel safe around your calm. Number 4, never need her. Neediness kills attraction faster than anything. What this means is that desire only flows towards the men who can lead. Number 5, match her effort but never exceed it. Over texting equals insecurity. Silence equals mastery. And the simple truth here is that curiosity beats availability every time. Number 6, stop apologizing. Apologies are for real mistakes, not for having boundaries. Over apologizing screams low status. Number 7, be selfish with your time. Your mission is more important than her moods. Because I'm here to tell you, men without priorities get disrespected regularly. Number 8, be kind to her, but only after she earns your respect. Respect opens legs. Kindness before respect snaps them shut for good. Number 9, and this is one that I probably need to work on, stay stoic. Chaos exposes weak men, but pressure exposes leaders, and unbothered men are irresistible. And number 10, women don't fall in love with what you say. They respond to who you are when things get uncomfortable. Learn how to become the kind of man women chase at datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. I had a chance because a woman never forgets her first. Not in her 20s, not on her wedding day, not in old age, not even on her deathbed. You see, gentlemen, a woman's memory doesn't work the same way a man's does. Men, we tend to forget details, names, dates, faces, and so forth. But women remember feelings. And the very first man who made her feel alive etched himself into her nervous system. He wasn't the richest, he wasn't the safest, he probably wasn't even the best long-term option. Yet he's the one who activated her. And that imprint does not fade. It settles. You could marry her, give her children, build a home, and provide stability. And still, the memory of the man who shook her world remains intact. Men fall in love with innocence, but women fall in love with experience. And the very first man she truly desired becomes the reference point her mind returns to, consciously or otherwise. Even hatred proves this phenomenon. If she hates him, that's simply unresolved unresolved emotional charge. Indifference is reserved for the men who never mattered to her. That's why her first stays alive in her memory. Not because he was perfect, but because he was real. He was unfiltered and unmanaged. That dude was masculine before strategy replaced instinct, and every man after him is evaluated quietly. But I want you to keep in mind that the comparison isn't intentional. It's automatic. This is why men pursue legacy while women pursue emotion, because men remember events while women remember states of being. So I need you to understand the weight of firsts. When a man is a woman's first true desire, he doesn't just get access to her body. He imprints her entire emotional baseline, and baselines are rarely erased. Subscribe and hit that notification bell for more dating wisdom like this. Ended up wasting a lot of years trying to repair an irreparable relationship. The overarching point to that story is that a man who can detach from a woman he loves is a man that is destined to win. Love makes men blind, but detachment makes men lethal. If your emotions control you, she controls you. And controlled men don't build anything, let alone an empire. Detachment isn't hatred, it's knowing when to walk away even when your heart begs you to stay. Women feel first, while men think first. And that's the difference between survival and success. A man who can lose a woman without losing his frame is a man with power, options, and direction. Attachment makes you negotiate, but detachment allows you to choose. Every successful man has learned this lesson the hard way. And that lesson is that nothing kills ambition faster than emotional dependence. And I speak from personal experience in this regard many times over. Because if she leaves and your life collapses, you are never leading, you are orbiting. So my advice is to love deeply, but never deep enough that you forget who the mission belongs to. Do not be the man whose world collapses if she leaves. Instead, be the man who can walk away. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to get more dating wisdom like this. One of many reasons why after nearly 10 years we are still together. Because I am here to tell you guys, the way your woman treats you during conflict matters more than every romantic moment you've ever had. The sex doesn't matter, the good times don't matter, your trips, your memories together, none of that matters. Conflict is the only moment that exposes the truth about your relationship. Any woman can be sweet when things are easy. Any woman can smile and be submissive when they're getting what they want. That's not character, that's convenience. Because here's the real test of her character. When she is angry, does she punish you or try to understand you? Does she communicate or does she humiliate? Does she argue the issue or attack your worth? Because the very moment a woman raises her voice to dominate, disrespects you to win, weaponizes her tears, silence, or sex, brings up your insecurity, threatens to leave, or turns disagreements into emotional warfare, not in a relationship. You, my friend, are in a power struggle. And here's the part that really pisses people off. A woman who truly loves you will protect the bond during conflict. A woman who does not love you will try to break you during the conflict. That's the line, guys. If she talks to you like you're an enemy when she's mad, it means she's been seeing you as one for a long time. Romantic memories do not cancel disrespect. Love does not excuse contempt. And history does not override behavior. Because how she fights will tell you how she'll treat you when life gets hard, how she'll act when stress hits, and how safe your future with her really is. Because men who ignore this always say the same thing in hindsight. She was amazing until she wasn't. No, she wasn't amazing, my guy. She was always like this. You just didn't want to see it. So here's the quick math. A woman who cannot respect you in conflict will never respect you in marriage. Sweet moments are cheap, but character under pressure is priceless. And unfortunately, most men don't learn this until after it costs them years, money, peace, sanity, and sometimes even their freedom. That's the truth whether you like it or not. Reality does not give a shit what you think is fair and what's not. And neither do modern women. Subscribe and hit the bell for more raw, unfiltered dating wisdom just like this.